And welcome back to another episode of Civilization Reborn. I know it's been quite a while since the last one. I think like 3 weeks. Last episode was an episode focused on Eurasia, so like over there. Which means this episode we're focusing on the Americas. Yeah, there's gonna be something kind of exciting happening at the end of this episode, so stick around to the end to find out. I'm also trying to hit 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year, so if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be pretty chill. Anyways, let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is going to happen down here in South America, and it's going to have to do with these little Peruvian guys down here. These Peruvian guys, they're like, hey, we kind of want more power. We kind of want to rival our neighbors to the north and south. So, what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to invade our neighbors, of course. Who doesn't like invading their neighbors? So, they're going to invade their neighbors to the north here. It's going to go pretty well. They're able to capture a bunch of land. And then they eventually take the capital city, and well, they surrender, and bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, they complete annexation. So let's really quick get rid of their capital and continue on with the video. We're not quite done with South America just yet. If you recall last episode, or not episode, but I think episode 19 it was, these little green-colored guys invaded their neighbor, or joined up with these dark green Brazilians, and they invaded their neighbors. So carrying on with that, these bean guys are going to go over here, and they're like, "Hey, we want more land," and they're gonna be like, and these guys are like, "Okay," and no, good luck finding that land. And these guys are like, "Yeah, we want your land." And swiftly kind of invade them a little bit. Go bam. Yeah, they bam. They just invade them. So let's get rid of their capital. Let's move on to these Brazilian guys over here who also want more land. They're going to join forces with these bean guys, and they're going to invade these guys to the north. They launch their invasion of the north. They instantly knock out this city. They link up to their little exclave over here. They push northwards and are able to capture another city up here. The bean guys, they go in, they start invading everyone. They say hi to the exclave. And then the bean guys push over to here, and then they enter their capital, and then these Brazilians over here take over the rest. So let's look at that peace treaty. So this green country is divided up between the bean boys. The bean boys get this half of the country, which includes the former capital of it, and then these Brazilians get that half of the country because they invaded that bit. They're much bigger now, much more powerful. Yeah, they're now starting to become a force to be reckoned with down here in South America. These green guys aren't done invading their neighbors quite yet. But yeah, these green guys, they're not quite done invading their neighbors. They want to, expand a bit more. So they are going to invade these neighbors with the help of these guys. The brown team, they're gonna send some troops up there to help fight alongside their comrades. The green Brazilians, they start their invasion. The troops spill over the borders and into this green country over here. Instantly, they're able to knock out two major cities, which is a big blow to these guys. They start to move up the coast and capture a major city, but they're having a harder time because this is like more populated, and these guys are starting to like defend it a bit more. Because this country is more populated, they have more strength, meaning they are able to push back these guys a little bit, and are eventually able to retake this city and kind of push back the Brazilians from here and kind of retake the city a little bit. But that's the end of like their victories for now, as the Brazilians march towards their capital, and these guys have to like reorganize their troops to protect their capital, meaning the Brazilians are able to recapture this city, go up over here, and then go up the coast a bit more and capture three more cities, and then eventually, well, we take the capital and the country falls, meaning the entire country goes over to Brazil in a move of complete annexation. The final thing that will be happening with this trapezoid alliance is that they are going to invade these blue guys up here, or at least the brown team is. The Brazilians are going to send them aid. But yeah, the bean team, they're gonna invade more into this little blue team. They're gonna capture their capital and take it pretty quickly. The reason why this is well, there's barely anyone there, so not much of a threat. and bam. Now we move down south to these pink Argentinians down here, and they're kind of itching to expand a little. If you don't remember, way back, these pink guys used to claim like I think uh like all of this down here, and I kind of want it back. So what they're going to do is they're going to declare war on these guys, and the troops cross over the border and spill into this country. They instantly knock out this major city down here, and then they continue downwards and knock out two more major cities, and then eventually capture the capital. And then, well, bingo, bingo, bongo, full annexation. They're going to continue their march downwards and invade these pink guys down here. Um, so yeah, they declare war on these pink guys. They instantly send their troops over their border, capture a city, capture another city, um, do a little island hopping and capture this city and these two cities down here. They link up with the main front over here, and they push down farther and then capture this big city down here. But the pink guys, they're not going to have too much of it. They're somewhat strong. I think they'd probably be like on par with these guys before they invaded down here. So they're gonna like start pushing back a little. Gonna push back up, capture this city, and then capture this city up here, and then move up a little bit farther and capture this city. But eventually, these guys kind of just like overwhelm them, or well, no, they start pushing. They go on a counteroffensive to their counteroffensive and capture and retake all this over here. And then they go back down, capture this city, and then this city, and then they island hop a bit more. They go down, and then they land over here, which kind of near their capital, forcing a bunch of troops to go down here to protect their capital, which works. Um, but it doesn't work out too kindly for them as these guys now push down here, take a major city, and then finally they capture the capital, and well, all is lost, and bam, this country's gone. They surrender. Okay, so the peace treaty is full annexation, complete annexation, bam, no more. They're gone. So these guys are, now quite big, quite large, really strong. Now we move a bit northward this time and go up to these golden Guyanans. Yeah, these Guyanans, they kind of want some more land. They can't really go down here because Brazil, if you watched a few episodes ago, kind of on a invasion arc. But yeah, these guys, they want more land, and they're gonna go up here and take it. Because if you remember, way back ago, I think these guys used to be part of the same uh, colony. Yeah, if we take a look at the religion map, yeah, they're basically like the same religion, meaning they're both colonized by these guys. These guys are the same religion, so since these guys are basically like the same, these guys are like, you know what, we're just like invading them to like bring or like to unite our people. So they're gonna declare war and invade them, and all goes kind of well. They take that city down there. They move up along the coast and take another major city, capture another major city down here. They're able to push out and take these two cities over here. But yeah, wouldn't you know it, bam, the entire mainland is taken except for these guys up here. These guys, super peace. They're like, okay, we'll give you all the mainland if you leave us alone up here. These guys are like, okay, whatever. So they take that deal and bam, uh, they lose all of their land on the mainland, but are still alive up here on Trinidad and Tobago. But yeah, they live there now. So now we go northwards, even more northwards, over to here, into Middle America. And if you've been watching this, as we know, there's the Star Alliance over here, consisting of like basically New York and the Midwest. These two countries. New York, they're itching to expand a little. They can't really go down south because, well, this big bad southern country down here, they're quite strong, and they don't really want to get in a war with them, even though they could probably win it. They can't go west, because, well, they're uh, they can't go west because, they're allies right there. You don't want to invade your ally. That's not cool of you. But where they can go, kind of, is northwards into Canada. These guys are kind of weak, basically just like small Canadian countries. New York can easily take them. So New York, knowing this, is going to declare war on the Diamond Alliance and begin their invasion. They start by invading these like New England guys. They're pretty easy to take. They instantly capture their capital and roll over it. And then next they go into this like New Brunswick area up here, and like bam, 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 we got your capital, and then they basically like have to surrender. And then they move into this country up here. Same thing, they basically capture their capital. And then they move across the border into this country. They capture this city that's along the Hudson. And then they move into this country, instantly capturing this city over here. They move downwards and capture another city, and then they move across this river here and capture that city. They're basically like now really like right next to these purple guys' capital. I think they're like one of the strongest in this alliance. So yeah, they basically cut it off and bam, take that city. Which basically means these guys up here can't really communicate with the main city, which isn't good, especially in these ancient times. I think it's like around 1000 BC or whatever. But yeah, now and then they continue to invade these guys over here. They get really close to their capital and capture these cities up here. Well, and then they do capture the capital, meaning this is collapsed, or well, meaning that that country collapses. And then these guys move in, capture this capital. These guys collapse and kind of like surrender over. These guys up here are like, okay, so here's the thing. We'll surrender if you spare us. These guys are like, no. And then they invade into this one, quickly capture its capital, and then bam, take that out. And these two are like, okay, please, we'll surrender. If we'll let you have all of that if you just leave us alone. And these guys are like, okay. And so they surrender over to these guys, and yeah, let's just look at that peace treaty. Okay, so this is the peace treaty. The New Yorkers, they get complete control of these guys, and these guys up here. They also get most of these guys, and these guys. They allow them to live. However, they're really small, and these guys know this, and they vassalize them. War is over. These guys expand into Canada. At any time, the New Yorkers can just go up here and if they want to, and just like, hey, you're now de facto part of our empire. And then as for these guys up here, they're gonna stay in their alliance. But the rest of this alliance is gone, so we can say goodbye to these guys. These guys up here, they're also now forcefully joined into the Star Alliance, meaning that if these guys go to war against someone else, have to like bring their troops down with them. Yeah, these New Yorkers, they're not done invading yet. They want more. They want more, more, more. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna invade Michigan, because why not invade Michigan? But yeah, it's pretty easy. They simply just do that, and then bada bing, bada boom, no more Michigan, or at least Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan is terrified now, as it should be, because these guys are gonna join up with their mates down here, and they're going to jointfully invade Michigan. So yeah, these guys invade over here, like bam, 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 and then they take most of this. These guys down here, they take this major city and then go upwards and capture the capital, and then, well, bam, no more Western Michigan. The peace treaty looks something like this. They're gone now. A lot of expansion by these guys over here. And now we're at the end of the video. Well, not the end of the video, but nearing the end of the video. And it's time for that little surprise I told you about. That little surprise is going to start down here in South America. As you can see, the trade routes go all throughout South America, all throughout North America, and even into Asia, and then kind of into the Middle East over here. So yeah, it's quite connected. You know how trade works. Goods go up and down the trade routes. You know what else can have the possibility of going up and down trade routes, crossing borders freely? A plague. A plague can. We learned this way back in the medieval times with the Black Plague. Traders in China bringing rats over into Europe, which carried ticks that carried the plague, which then killed like a third of Europe. And so that same thing is going to be happening down here in South America, except it's not going to kill the Europeans. Oh no, no, no. It's gonna it's gonna kill a bunch of Americans. So this plague, it's gonna start down here in this yellow country over here, and it's gonna slowly creep up. It's gonna start to infect these red guys, and then go up and infect these blue guys, then go up into these Peruvian guys and start making people a little sick in their capital. While it's in the blue guys, it not only does it go off to the Peruvians, it goes upwards, infecting these purple and green guys, and then up into the Amazonians, and it's gonna go over here into these Guyanans, and it's going to go up here into the Peruvians, and then it's going to cross over the Venezuelans and Colombians and meet back in Panama. And then it's going to go slowly up through Central America and then up through Mexico. Then it's going to get to California, where it diverges again and then goes up the Californian coast and then also eastwards. And then when it gets up here into Washington, it continues going northwards, and then it also continues going eastwards, crossing the plains, crossing the Midwest, and into this Midwest country. The plague crosses the desert, kind of goes into the Southerners, and then once again goes back into the middle country. And then it goes into New York, which then spreads out into these Canadian guys. The plague starts to infect, and infect, and infect, and infect some more. And it's going to be so bad that governments are going to start to collapse. A lot of people are going to start to die. And we see this start happening over here in this yellow country, as we see millions of deaths over here in this region, causing its collapse. We start to see millions of deaths over here in this yellow country, specifically in this southern region. There's millions upon millions of deaths, and because of all of this death, this region kind of collapses. It no longer has a functioning government. All like the mayors, the governors, they've collapsed. The cities are basically on their own. The government up here is unable to provide for these guys down here. And now that doesn't just stay within here. It starts moving up the trade route. Cities upon cities, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, die, collapse. They are abandoned by their government and are left to fend for themselves. This country is in a complete state of anarchy. Millions are dead, millions are dead. Hundreds of thousands are sick. The plague keeps rising, and the government collapses and cannot rule over it anymore. So the country as a whole completely collapses, as it is, the epicenter of it. Hits the hardest, except for this one, except for this little town over here. They're kind of cut off from the rest of it, so they don't get it quite as bad as the rest of the country. More people are starting to die elsewhere, such as this red country, which also starts to lose control and collapse into a state of anarchy, especially in this eastern region where the trade route is. So yeah, civilization starts to collapse a lot. More and more people die. The government is able to control less and less, and eventually, their own this red country basically only exists on the coastline. All of this white stuff, complete anarchy. Every city for their own, every village on their own, and mainly I didn't want to draw in 30,000 different villages. This plague also starts to go into this country, and it kind of collapses as well. It's not as bad as the countries with the trade route going through it, but it's also kind of bad. Um, Hundreds of thousands die, and their country is basically pushed back to there. Then these blue guys start to feel it. Bunch more collapse, complete collapse, down over here. And then their capital is taken out completely, which is bad. You don't want your capital going. So the country is basically split into two. This western half over here by the sea, and this eastern half over here in the forest area, although it's greatly diminished because, the plague. So basically, it's only this city up here and this cluster of cities down there. And then this country collapses as it's quite small and almost completely on the trade route, same with this country up here. And then this brown team's also kind of affected, it was bordering that country. These guys get quite sick and collapse. These guys are kind of spared, but not really. They lose quite a bunch of people, but it's not as severe. These purple Peruvians, they just gained a bunch more people, but that is kind of quickly undone as the plague continues to kill more and more. It moves up the coastline, and bam, all of this is sent into complete anarchy. The king moves east into his newly conquered territory. This red team, they collapse into complete anarchy. Yeah, it's not good when your entire country, when your capital is situated on the trade route. So the red team kind of just exists in these tiny pockets of cities, mainly because, this is dense jungle rainforest. And then these Guyanians, they die too. Especially the guys up here on the coast. These guys get hit the hardest. They're all gone. As you can kind of tell, this is quite the civilization-ending plague, and we're not even out of South America. More people die, more countries fall. Brazil, these Brazilian nations aren't really affected by it because they weren't part of the trade routes. These lime team, they didn't really. Well, this yellow team, they didn't build a trade route up to the lime team, and neither did these Ghanaians build it down into the Brazilians, so they're not hit as hard. Everyone else though, they're hit really hard. Like bam. Uh they're basically like forced back into the jungle. Or well, not back into the jungle, they're just forced into the jungle. All these civilizations collapse. These guys don't really collapse. Actually no, yeah, they do. They collapse a little. Bam. Well, these guys completely collapse because they're so small. These Argentinians, although they do get it, they don't get it as bad. So yeah, they still a bunch of people they kind of lose control over all this though. But yes, now let's move on to North America. Panama completely wiped out, hundreds of thousands dead. I think like 90% of their country dies to this plague. This is a really deadly plague. It moves up into like Nicaragua, Honduras area. But yeah, it kills many more people. They basically only exist in this city now. It moves up into Mexico, kills a whole bunch of people. They basically only exist on the Yucatan and these guys down here. Then it moves into this Mexico, kills a lot of more people. And you may be wondering, is this news of the plague moving slowly up through here and into the North America? Yeah, kind of, but the severity of it isn't really calculated because, everyone's dying and all that. People are kind of trying to move up northwards because they kind of think that it's going to be safer up there. They're kind of right. Not really, though. A lot die on the way up, but they are able to say like, hey, there's this big plague happening down south that's collapsing nations. So these guys are kind of worried about it. But nonetheless, the plague moves upwards and into Mexico and kills a bunch more people. It splits the country in two. The city, or the capital city, is gone. These guys are gone. But yes, now we get into the Californians. These guys have their capital on the trade route. They're also kind of strong. They're probably like the top five strongest in North America. But germs don't care about military strength because they're germs. So they kind of well, they have a harder time spreading in like the desert area because it's desert. But still, it happens. The capital city falls, Baja falls. Um, Once again, this isn't like everyone in the white part is 100% dead. It's just like it just collapses into like 1,000 different like every village is on its own. So like every village is its own nation now, basically. Now these guys continue to die up here. It starts spreading into this northward into like mainly California. The LA area's hit, San Francisco's hit hard. But yeah, all like basically all the coastal cities are hit hard. The cities out um west or no east aren't hit as hard because it's desert and no one really is going out to the desert. But yeah, and then it moves into Washington and kills many more people, many millions more people. Capital City falls, leaving the entire country in chaos. Now we move eastwards. These guys, once again, bam, bam, bam. Many deaths. It somewhat affects the South. It not really though, because um, trade route doesn't go through the South as much. So yeah, the South is gets away kind of unscathed. These guys, however, do not get away unscathed. Actually, in fact, they're probably one of the most hardest hit countries so far. Like, cause like this is like the crossroad, one of the big crossroads of trade. Like this is where east meets west here. So yeah, big major collapse. Like they're almost the entire like country like collapses. It's gone. No more of these guys. The plague goes into Wisconsin and kind of takes them out too. These purple guys are hit really hard as well, but not as hard because their capital and a lot of their major cities are located farther away from the plague. But yeah, these guys out here, they also completely collapse. It kind of ignores these green guys up here. They're mainly like nomads. Like all these guys over here are nomads, so they kind of are just like chilling. But yeah, now we get to New York. New York is not having a fun time either, mainly because of all these trade routes. So yeah, they're gonna all start. Many people start to die. It's not a fun time. Basically now, everyone's heard of like this plague, so everyone is like evacuating to like the country and like away from the trade routes, which kind of helps not spread the plague, but at the same time also kind of really spreads it up into like these cities down here, because like people who don't know they're sick are moving out and getting other people sick. So yeah, um, not fun. But yeah, New York is hit really hard. All these Canadian guys, Michigan, are basically like wiped out. Cal or no, not California, but yeah, New York City itself is hit really hard here. And plague moves northward, complete like collapse up here as well in the newly conquered Canadian countries. The vassals also collapse. They heavily relied on these guys. So yeah, and then these Canadian guys they also get hit by the plague a lot and like completely collapse. Now that these guys are also get like hit fairly hard, but not as hard because it's like really cold up here and plague doesn't like the cold a lot. So these guys are kind of safe. Now we move northwards. Yeah, these Washington guys still are gone, and then it moves up into Alaska and kills more Alaskans. Base, the entire coast is gone. Millions dead along the coast, and then along this coast, bam, more dead, and complete anarchy over here. And then we get to the final country, which is these Alaskans over here. They make the smart idea to shut down the trade route, and by shut down the trade route, I mean they make it illegal for boats to cross the strait, because they don't want to spread the plague anymore. Which is a smart move, as the plague is now unable to reach the New World. But the plague continues to spread, continues to collapse nations, and eventually these guys like get hit really, really hard. And this is like a 98% death rate over here. So like many people die. Um, yeah, and then these guys can't really survive without the main or the main cities, so they're gone. This is yeah, all of this they also collapse. Mainly because like outside of here there's like nothing. It's just cold tundra. And then Washington also completely collapses as well. So yes, this is the plague. This was the big surprise. You may be wondering, oh wow, why did you kill so many people? And it's because I wanted to. It's because plagues make things interesting. But yeah, because of this plague, the Americas completely lose contact with the old world, or I guess the new world. So these guys have no idea what's going on. They're like, oh, why are goods no longer flowing in from North America? These guys over here are Leskins are don't even know about it. It doesn't even reach them. Same with these guys. Plague is kind of over now. It lasted like 50 years ish. I don't know how long plagues last, but yeah, 50 years ish. Complete anarchy across the two continents of America. Before the plague, America had like maybe like a combined population of like 400 million people, but now combined there's only 174 million people, meaning about three-quarters of everyone died. So yeah, this is a really nasty plague. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. I hope you like the shorts I've been releasing, and that's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.